Hello. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. So I have to say, um, I have to say, my hair is being weird. My hair is always being weird. So I have to say, this has been on my arm for a few minutes now, and literally just um, moved off my arm and into a place where I can like lift my arm out of here as the live camera was turning on. So I've been a little bit trapped for a few minutes because the new baby kitten was sitting on my arm. So, but now he's. So if you haven't met Riley, this is Riley. He is a new addition to our family, and he's tearing up the place. Hi, Vinny. What a beautiful surprise. What a beautiful surprise. So yes, I'm very happy to have my arm back because Riley's been sleeping on my arm for about 20 minutes while I was typing on my computer, and I couldn't really move. So I'm delighted he feels safe in his new home. He's been here about a week. Uh, he's very, very tiny. He's very small. So it's just, can you show your little face? I know you're sleeping. Yeah. So anyway, very excited. So thanks for joining. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. And as we've been doing lately, we'll start with our recap of which planets are still in retrograde. So Pluto is going to be in retrograde until the beginning of October. Saturn is in retrograde till the end of next month, but I'm delighted we're in a position now where I can finally start saying next month instead of 3 months from now. Jupiter is going to be in retrograde until the middle of next month, and Neptune is in retrograde until Thanksgiving. So we still have 4 that are out there stirring up trouble. And if you've heard me talk about retrogrades, and you've heard me talk about retrogrades a lot, retrogrades are all about helping to stir up what's going on for you, what has been neglected, ignored, things that we don't want to look at, things that we don't want to deal with. And I've had so many people call me for sessions talking about, needing to understand where their life is going, what they're doing, what's their purpose, what are they supposed to be doing. And my comment to everyone is, where do you feel like the most tension in your life? Because those are the places where we're ignoring what retrogrades are trying to show us. And each planet has divinity over a different element, different aspect of our life. So when we look at the astrological readings, and I am not an astrologer, I am very beginning learning. It's fascinating to me. There's so much information there, and it's amazing how accurate it is. But it's not surprising, it's amazing. But each planet has divinity over a different aspect of our lives, relationships, how we process information, all kinds of different things. And when you're looking at those planets that are in retrograde, and you can understand what those planets, what is their domain in our lives, and to be able to say, I need to switch this in my life, I need to adjust this. Retrograde is going to push us to look at the things that we are most unwilling to see. So when we say most unwilling to see, what are we most unwilling to do? And when you look at stepping forward, stepping out of your comfort zone, stepping forward into a position of success and blessing and abundance, it starts with, what are you most unwilling to do? What are you most unwilling to see? Hello, dear Claudette. How are you? How are you? Thank you so much for being here. In case, because you're joining late, and I know we're here last week. You can see cute kittens on my desk, Miss Claudette. So we're being super cute, I gotta say. Like little like this on my desk. So okay, so we know that planets are in retrograde. We know that society at large is being squeezed, right? We've talked about this before, how we're being squeezed, we're being pushed through almost like this birth canal to be reborn into this new transformation to do something else, right? Are we being pushed out of our cocoon? Butterflies make a little tiny hole in the cocoon, and they push themselves out of that hole, and if we help them, they will not live, they will not survive. So they have to be able to go through that struggle themselves. They have to be able to squeeze themselves out of that hole in the cocoon to be able to be free and to complete their transformation and to be able to live in the new world. And that is quite literally what we are seeing happening right now. So every single day we're talking to people about what do they need to do, what do they need to know. And so the thing I will tell you is the place to start is what are you unwilling to look at and address in your life? Because that is where they're going to be guiding you. That's what they're trying to heal. I had somebody call me today and booked me for a session, sweet woman. And one question she asked me really just touched my heart. Just in the conversation of setting up her appointment, I was so touched because she asked me, she says, do you like what you do? And I know I've been asked this question before, but not for a long time. Do you like what you do? And I thought, oh my gosh, yes. I love doing this work. I love being part of helping people heal and see their lives in a different way, seeing the universe in a different way, understanding that death is not gone. Our loved ones may transition out of this physical form, but they are still with us. And being able to prove that to people is so amazingly powerful and humbling to be able to be part of that healing process for people. And then for me personally, to be somebody who can help take the woo-woo out. I don't want people to continue to feel like this is weird and strange and odd that we do these things, and to be part of a group of mediums and psychics who are trying to take the weird out of all of this. And so the first thing I tell people about myself is I'm a mom. I've got kids and dogs and a kitten and all kinds of normal things. And that it's so important to understand that this is not weird. It's not weird. It's not against God. It's not against the Bible. It's not any of those things, because we are all a soul talking to all the other souls. And if we're all a soul having a human experience, then we're all still in the same family. We're all talking to each other, whether we're doing that through human ears or we're doing that through the third eye or the crown chakra and addressing into our whole soul consciousness, which is up here. And so much of our awareness, hi Martha, welcome. So much of our awareness is about, I heard this great analogy. I'm reading this fabulous book that I don't have the title of because I don't have the book in front of me. But if you're following my page, you'll know that when I read a great book, when I'm done with the book, I tend to post some quotes from the book that really stood out for me. So keep an eye open, because I'm almost done with the book, and I don't post those things until I finish the book, because otherwise I never finish the book. It gets stuck on my desk. So I finished the book this next couple of days. I'll be posting quotes. But the book is called You Are Psychic. It was written in the late 80s, early 90s, and parts of it you can kind of tell. But one of the things that I thought was really this great analogy was how we explain to people about how our soul resides in our body. And hi, oh, lots of first timers. Hi, Jessica. Well, if you're new here, or even if you're not new here, thank you for saying hi. Definitely put in the comments where you are. Where are you from? So when we explain to people about how our soul resides in the body, I used to explain it like you see those guys at parades where they put their arms up and they've got like a big giant hat that comes down to about here, and they paint faces on their chests, and then they like wiggle their bellies in the parades. And there's some goofy guy in every parade that does this thing. But it's kind of always struck me that was a way that I saw the soul, because most of our physical body is down here, but so much more of what makes us truly who we are is way above our heads. And so this guy who wrote the book, You Are Psychic, with an exclamation point in the title, what he talks about is taking the idea of an iceberg and flipping it upside down. And that makes so much better of an analogy. So we know with an iceberg, only 10% of an iceberg is above the water, and 90% of the iceberg is below the water. And so if you flip the iceberg upside down, 10% of that iceberg is here in our little heads, right? And the pointy part, and then so much more of it is out up here above our heads, up, still connected with the universe. Okay, so it is so important that we understand that. Wonderful. Oh wow, Canada and Georgia, yay, welcome. So it is so important that we are understanding that the human part of us is such a small part of who we really are. And we came here and we put on this human suit so that we could have experiences and learn things. And understanding that everyone is on their path and everyone is learning things. Someone said to me, she said, I feel like I'm lost. I said, no, we're not lost. We may be on a circuitous part of our path, but we are not lost. We are still on our path. Okay, there is no not being on our path. We may be, if you've ever done any kind of hiking, like up a mountain, you'll find these things that are switchbacks where you go and then you turn and you come around the other side. I climbed some mountains. I was so blessed to spend time in Northwest Montana at Glacier National Park years ago, and we climbed up a mountain, and it's not like climbing straight up. You kind of follow the trail, and it literally takes you all the way around the mountain, and you do these switchbacks, and you eventually get to the top of the mountain. If you keep climbing and you don't give up, you eventually get to the top of the mountain. But as you're going along, and we talked about this last week about the slinky and the spiral, right? And we come around to the same point again and again, but we're a little higher up. And it's the same thing with climbing the mountain with the switchbacks. You keep climbing the mountain, you may get the same view over and over again when you come around that bend and you switch. In some places where we've hiked, you can literally see the road, the path literally turn around. And if you really want to see some of this stuff, you can watch the Tour de France on TV in the summer, because boy, they really have some of those roads. And so you come around to the same view again, but you're a little higher each time and you have a different perspective. So we're here in our human suits learning the lessons that our soul came to learn. So there is nothing that's wrong, and there is no lost, and we are not on the wrong path. We're just maybe on a switchback, and maybe on a part that's a little more curvy than we'd like, right? Because if it was easy, and if it was a straight line, and we said, oh, I need to go here and then here and then here, like you have your list of errands that you might need to run on the weekend. I need to go to the grocery and the dry cleaner and the whatever. It's boring because you know where you're going, you know what's going to happen. You're not learning anything. You're getting stuff done, but you're not learning anything. And so we are here to learn. So I can't stand this. I'm so sorry. This shameless plug, but I just can't stand it because he is just. So this is Riley. If you haven't met Riley, I do not do well with the whole backwards camera thing. So I'm sorry if I'm making you seasick right now. I do truly apologize. But he is just the cutest thing. Where is your little face? I can't. And he's sleeping in the middle of my desk, of course. So some of you met Riley last week. He's been here about a week. He came to us last Sunday. He was found under a dumpster, and he is absolutely the sweetest little thing. So we are so grateful to have him be living in our house. And if he decides to wake up, I will show you on his back. He has little angel wings in his coloring. So anyway, it's been a week, and he's already getting along with everybody. And he and the other cat had still a little hissing, but they're working it out. So we're not fighting with each other, and that's good. And he's so little. He's now 2 pounds. So, okay. So having said all of that we are in this place of transformation, and we are in this place of really self-evaluating, understanding that it is no accident that in 2020 we have so many planets that have been in retrograde, that are staying in retrograde, that are in retrograde. I feel like retrograde is all we talk about, because this is so much the time of transformation. This entire year has been about transformation. And so we are being forced to look at ourselves in a new way. And so those retrogrades are really going to talk to you about what is it in your life that you need to address? What have you been unwilling to look at about yourself and about your life situation, about the people around you, the relationships? What is it that you have been unwilling to look at and change? And because if you follow me at all, you know you've heard me talk about the cosmic bitch slap. So the universe is going to give you a little sign and a little nudge. It says, hey, sweetheart, it's time to do this. Hello, this is the universe. Hello, I'm sending you a sign. It's time. And if you're not paying attention, it gets a little bit more, and then you get a little bit more, until you finally just get that big smack upside the head of the cosmic bitch slap. So when we're not paying attention to the signs from the universe, it gets stronger. The nudges get stronger. I talked with one person the other day who said, I don't understand. I've been at this job for so long, X amount of time, and I've been doing all these things, and it's all really great. And now all of a sudden, I just feel like they just don't like anything I'm doing. They don't appreciate anything I've done, even though I've done everything they've asked. I don't really understand. I said, do you feel like you're being squeezed out? And she said, yeah. I said, because you are. You're being squeezed out. And squeezed out literally is the analogy for everything in 2020. Everything about this is like, that birth canal, the coming out of the cocoon, being squeezed out of the toothpaste tube. Pick whatever visualization works for you. But the whole essence of 2020 is about reformation, not reformation. Reformation. And we are all being transferred and transfigured from one form into another. Okay, and so it's not a bad thing. So if you are a person who's change resistant, I want to guide you to sit, take some slow, deep breaths and ask yourself this question I've said a couple times already. What are you most unwilling to see about yourself? What are you most unwilling to do? Those are the things that retrograde is guiding you to. And that is the whole purpose of retrograde, is to see what we are unwilling to see, hear what we are unwilling to hear, and to make those shifts and changes. Because what happens is when we do that work, and I understand it is not easy. It is not easy. Okay, but when we do that work, I'm going to shuffle this way because I feel like if I shuffle with the, it's really loud and I'm going to scare a kitten. Yes, I know, I'm deferring my card shuffling to our kitten. You would too. He's so cute. So when we are paying attention and we're doing this work that's hard, it makes a huge difference because it puts us on the right path. Okay, it puts us on a more focused path. And I'm going to say the right path because we're never on the wrong path, but it gets us out of the woods and gets us off those switchbacks into a more direct path to the place that we are being guided to go. Okay, that's part of our growth. It's part of our ascension. It's not easy, but when we do that work, we vibrate higher. We raise our own vibration up when we do this work. When we're willing to do this work, the universe will step in and help us. The more willing we are to face our own selves, the more the universe will come and step in and help us. When we move that, we raise our vibration. We let go of so much crap. When we really stop and look at it, you won't believe how much crap we hold on to about ourselves and about other people, and the guilt and anger and shame and frustration and all this shit that we don't need to hold on to, because none of that is rooted in love. So, okay, if you follow me at all, you know that I work with a state park. I volunteer at a state park that's near-ish my home, and we protect the manatees from swimmers. So at this Springs, beautiful park, Blue Springs State Park, you look it up, we've had 3 amazing manatee births that have happened in the local area, or 2 of them that happened physically in our springs. And so we've had tons of manatees be in and out into the swimming area while there are people swimming around. And manatees, if you're not familiar with a Florida manatee or a West Indian manatee, they're super cute. They are federally protected. It is illegal to touch them or mess with them or anything like that. But they're so friendly, they'll come right up to you. And so my job is a manatee protector, basically, and I get the people out of the way, and I move the people, and we educate people about manatees, but we keep the people from messing with the manatees. Well, yesterday we had 5 manatees and 1 juvenile who just was intent on not staying with the group, which that's okay, but he was swimming in and around where all the people were, and it was only just me on the shift yesterday, so I had to stay with the mama and the baby. And so as I'm listening to people's reactions to the directions that I'm giving. And the park was crowded, and even though they're still at 75% capacity, I heard one woman kind of off the way. She was like yelling, I'm sure she was being really snarky. And I know she was trying to get my attention, or not like calling me, but she was like, he's been doing that all day, blah, blah, blah. It's fine. You don't have to, whatever. And I thought to myself, wow, I know that she's like irritated with whatever the situation was in that moment, but if only she understood that that manatee that was swimming back and forth was actually exhibiting a stress behavior, and he wasn't just being super friendly. And maybe she would have had a different level of compassion to my work in trying to protect him, because what he was doing was exhibiting a stressful behavior. And there was some other person that kind of floated by me in my kayak who I think had called me a Karen, which I think we're all learning that that's not a good, and it's a new derogatory term, but I was like, well, okay. And it doesn't hurt my feelings, because all of these things are with their issues. And as this person was floating into the area, he really had no idea what was going on in front of him to react that way. And I was like, all right, well, but that's his issue and her issue. And none of that was my issue, because all of these people had like this much perspective. Like they had, there's a famous story of a bunch of it's an Indian story out of India, where they had blindfolded these scientists or these men, and they put them in front of an elephant, and they blindfolded them, and they had them touch the elephant and said, what is it that can you identify what you are touching? And so the one guy said, well, it had the trunk, and he said, well, it's thick and it's like a hose. And the other guy had the tusk, and he said smooth and curved. And the other guy had the body, and it was all rough, and it was really big. And he didn't know what it was. He thought it was a wall. And so they all had different parts of the elephant. And of course, everyone described something that was accurate for their limited perception. And so at the end of the day, and it ended up to be a very long day yesterday, a gentleman came and was talking to me as I was pulling my kayak out of the water. And he said, you know, you said this to me and I didn't really understand it. And I said, oh, well, let me explain. Because probably in the moment I was saying totally different things to people. And I said, well, this is, you know, the reasons that we have these different things at the park. And he was like, oh, well, now that I understand it, it makes perfect sense. And I was like, oh, great. So here was one person that took the time. And to be honest, through the day, so many other people like swam by me and said, you know, what's the story? What's the deal? What is your job? What do you, you know, cool job? What do you do? Why are you here? What's the deal with the manatees? Are they dangerous? Whatever. But each one of them saw a different keyhole perspective with their blindfold and their one hand on the situation. And so a few of them were like, mer, 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 and others accepted the situation as it was, and others chose to ask for more information and to get in more enlightened. And I love that because it's such a great analogy. I know you're thinking like, why is she talking all about the manatees? Well, one, I love them, but it's such a great analogy because in any situation, we're the guys with the blindfolds. We can only see one keyhole of information. We can only see one piece of that story. So we can choose to react adversely and be change resistant and be like, I'm not doing that. That's the thing I'm unwilling to do. I'm not going to change with all these planets in retrograde. Nope, I'm holding on to my status quo. Okay, and I'm just going to be mad at the universe for not helping me and making me be stuck. Or we're going to open ourselves to the situation and just accept it as it is. Well, we've got quarantine and COVID and I'm out of work and I'm just, you know, it is what it is. I'm just going to sit here on the couch and play video games until the world shifts and all of a sudden, you know, the new job falls on my lap. Okay, we're going to accept the situation as it is. Or are we going to choose to enlighten ourselves and open our mind and broaden our horizons? And that is what's been going on. And so, Claudette, I love that you are allowing more new things to come in for you, because that is the word right there, is allowing. What will we allow in our lives? We can allow more new information to come in. And the people who did that are going to go home with more knowledge of manatees. They were the ones that had a great experience because they understood what was going on and they allowed themselves to relax into the situation and enjoy the show the manatees were putting on, rather than the folks who were just being frustrated that they couldn't get to the, you know, very end of the swimming lane, that they couldn't get to see, you know, to get to the end. And so we can has so much to do with our attitude of how we open ourselves to the universe. In any situation, we can walk into that situation and understand our preconceived notions and our perceptions of what is happening or what's about to happen. Beyond that, we can close off to anything else that's beyond that, or we can choose to open and say, this is what I think I'm going to do. This is what I think is how it's going to turn out, but I am open to anything else that happens. So we talk a lot with crystals, and if you follow me at all, I work with crystals. I talk about them a lot. So this is, I have a bowl on my desk. I have a ton of stuff on my desk right now. I have a bowl on my desk that has all kinds of different crystals in it, but this is a labradorite. And the labradorite is one of those protection stones. It's things to help with vibrations and keeps negative emotions and stuff away. So when I look at my labradorite, and I have lots of labradorite, but I look at my labradorite and I say, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of my energy, part of my world. And this is what I need you to do, or something better. And I thank you. Or something better, because you know what? The crystal is a lot smarter than I am, because the crystal has a broader view. The crystal isn't looking through the keyhole vision. The crystal has a broader view. So in any situation, we can choose to look at it and say, okay, what do I need to know? Okay, this is what the situation as I perceive it. This is what I think is going to happen. What else can I be open to? What else can I learn? And it's so amazing because we will end up with situations expanding our horizons in ways that we can't even imagine if we will allow it. So one woman that I work with, and I coach and mentor her a lot, I was so pleased because she had called and said, oh, the car battery died and I'm going to need to pay X amount of dollars to get a new car battery. And, this is what they told me. And so when that, then she had called again and said, oh, we were going to jump the car and take it to the place to get the car battery. And then they couldn't jump the car. So they had to call AAA, and the AAA sent out a lady, and the lady said, no, they've given you wrong information. Here, I just need to do click, 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 and your battery is fixed. There's nothing wrong with your battery. You don't have to pay all this money, and look, it's all fixed. And so the woman that I work with was so delighted, and she said, oh, I don't have any cash to give the woman a tip. So she is also a Mary Kay consultant in my group, and so she gave the woman a package of goodies and samples and just, lots of little pampery things. And the woman was so thrilled that she ended up to become a new customer. So my friend, my consultant who I work with and coach, she opened herself to the situation. When she called me to say, oh, it's going to be this much money, I knew that that was going to be a hardship for her. But she looked at it and she said, well, it is what it is, and we're just going to deal with it because that's just what it is. And she allowed for, and I know it's going to work out. I know whatever it is, it's just going to work out. And so not only did the universe step in and help her because she allowed it and she opened her mind to the possibilities, she ended up having to pay like no money whatsoever because it was AAA, so it was included in her membership. Here in this country, it's an auto roadside assistance service, and she allowed for the possibility for things to shift. So it ended up costing her no money. She learned something about her car, and she made a new friend and a new customer. So I just think it's so amazing when we can come into the situation, whatever that situation is, to say, this is my perception of the situation. This is what I think is going to happen. But whatever, I'm open to, expansion. It changes how we evolve in a situation, and it allows the universe to step in and bless us in ways that will blow your mind. So it is such a joy for me to do this work and to be able to share these things, because we can choose to go through our life, and especially if you live in this country, in the United States, it's getting to be a hot mess out there as we're getting more and more into the election season, and we're less than 90 days away. And so here we've got, in my state, the primary tomorrow, the Democratic National Convention is starting tonight, the Republican Convention is starting. It's getting to be a hot mess out there. I mean, and that wasn't really a cool mess to start with. So understand that you can choose to go through your life calling everybody a Karen or yelling at people for not doing things the way you would do it, or you can open yourself to the possibility that there's something for you to learn and someplace for you to evolve in every single situation. So for those of you who have been hanging out each week, we've been working with 2 different card decks because I just am so enamored by some of the things that are being created out there. And I do love the amazing and fabulous Colette Baron-Reid. And so this is her Goddess Power Oracle. And so we have been picking one card from the Goddess Power each week to find out which goddess has been working with us and which goddess is working with us each week. And so as I did my shuffle, I picked the card for Ocean, and this is Generosity. And isn't she gorgeous? Look at this artwork. Isn't that just fantastic? And I'm going to read what it says because I'm not... because these are not oracle cards, these are goddess cards, I feel like it's important to stay true to the message of the author and the artist. And because I just don't know a lot about these goddesses, and I'm just so enjoying learning. But every week that we've been pulling cards, they have been so right on the money. So Ocean this says, there is a universal law that, and I don't have my glasses, that centers on unrestrained generosity and flow. Ocean is the benevolent Yoruban river goddess, the representation of nourishment, healing, fertility, and prosperity, reminds you that life herself has given to you freely. You have been offered air to breathe, water to drink, food to eat, and shelter to sleep in. So it is your task to give give freely of yourself, no matter how big or small the act, without expectation of receiving anything in return. I think this is so fantastic, and always just thrills me that the cards are so on point with the things that we talk about, because everything, I ask for guidance and love and wisdom, and then they just channel through me. I don't have anything prepared when I come on Mondays and be like, I'm going to talk about this. I have no idea what's coming out of my mouth because I just trust they're going to give it to me. And everything that they're talking about is when we approach that situation with love and compassion and knowing that the universe is going to step in and help us, or the universe has our back, or whatever it is, or without frugality, without saying, I can't do this because then I won't have. If we come to it with an open heart, a generous heart, this is where we raise our vibration. This is where we learn more. This is where we evolve. And that is everything that we're talking about and everything that needs to be in this current situation, this current crazy times that we're living in. Right? I can't stand it. The kitten is like sleeping with his head upside down, his little pink nose pointing up, and it just, so, I mean, I said to my husband, it's one little kitten, how much trouble could he be? Because we already have 3 dogs and a cat and the 2 college kids. So, um, you know, what's a kitten when you throw it on all of that stuff? So we open our hearts and, oh, we've got a jumper card. We open our hearts and we allow others to come in. We allow ourselves to have the opportunity to be blessed. Okay. When we allow ourselves to be a blessing, we also allow ourselves the opportunity to be blessed. And so when the woman asked me yesterday if I liked doing this work, and I was like, well, yeah, I love it because I get to help people. But what's the other part of that equation is by being being able to help people, I am blessed so much by just the joy and the gratitude and the humility and the just the satisfaction of the way that I live my life that allows me to say, yeah, I did good stuff today and I helped people. And I think in my little corner of the world, I made that world a better place. I mean, that's the goal at the end of every day, to be able to say, did you make your little corner of the world a better place today for yourself or somebody else? You know, what light did you shine on? And we talk a lot, again, if you follow me, you'll start to see the different things I come back to over and over again. We talk a lot about the ripples in the water, right? The circles in the water. Have a great day, Claudette. Thanks for swinging by. We talk a lot about the ripples on the water where, you know, the cavitation. So if you drop a pebble in the water over here, it's going to put out those rings. And if I drop a pebble over here, it's going to put out those rings. And eventually those rings are going to bump into each other and they're going to cavitate off of each other and create more, bigger, stronger rings. And that's what we're about, spreading the light, spreading that joy. So we have this card that jumped, and I'm a huge fan of the jumper cards. I respect the heck out of the jumper cards. So this card is Pleiades, which is reminding us of, it says, I really got to remember to get my glasses before I sit down to do this every day. Hi, Ellen. Hi, welcome from Ohio. It says double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. Well, did I not just say that this is what we are here to do? So this is what we are here to do, is because Pleiades is the place where a lot of us come from, and this is the reminder that we can create this, you know, Lemuria, this Atlantis, this beautiful place on earth that is filled with love and light and gratitude and this utopian society. We can create that, but we ourselves have to be the ones that come from that place of love and light. So I love that this says channeling and uplifting humanity, because that is really what all of us are here for. And when people say to me, well, what's my purpose? I'm like, your purpose is to spread love. Your purpose is to love, to allow yourself to be loved, to follow your passion, the things that bring you love, the things that allow you to give love to others. That is the passion. That is the purpose. That's the path right there. Simplest answer. So then, okay, seriously, you cannot make this shit up. So the second card is Lemuria. So Lemuria was a utopian society here on Earth in the previous incarnation of humans on this planet before before cavemen and all of that. So back in the time of the Atlanteans, we had Lemuria. So the fact that Lemuria would come right up after Pleiades, and we we're talking about creating utopian society on Earth, it is not an accident. The cards do not lie. And so what I come back to with this is every week I've been telling people, and I really do believe it with all of my guts. I do believe it with all of my guts, even though sometimes my human gets on, you know, and looks at the news and gets on Facebook, and I get outraged at the things that this terrible administration is trying to do on our planet, and I get outraged about these things. In my heart of hearts, I still know that we are okay and that we are moving forward in a way that is involving humans and helping us move into the light. And so all the crap that is going on with dictators and, you know, corrupt governments and all these different things, it's like, you know, Louise Hay was the founder of Hay House, who discovered, you know, Wayne Dyer and Colette Baron Reed and all these other amazing people. She used to say you have to see the dirt before you can clean it. And if you want to look at it on more, maybe you're not familiar with Hay House, if you have a cancer diagnosis or an illness in your body, you have to find it before you can heal it. You can't just be like, okay, I think I have cancer, let me, you know, heal me. No, if you had cancer, God forbid, if you had some kind of a negative diagnosis, they would tailor your treatment specific to the kind of disease that you had in your body. They're not just going to give you penicillin for cancer. They're not going to give you ibuprofen for I don't know, I take ibuprofen for everything. So, but you want medication and treatment that is, and please understand, I'm not like a big proponent of big pharma or any kind of anything like with that, but um, you want a solution and a remedy that is directed, that is going to directly address the illness and the ailment, which means you have to be willing to see the ailment first. So if we're not willing to see it, we can't fix it. And right now, 2020, this is a big old fat honking dose of you gonna see it, like it or not, and you're gonna see it. And so that's really what's going on with us right now. And so the cards with Ocean as our goddess who's with us this week is reminding us that even with all the crap that's going on, please stay with a generous, open, and loving heart, because we are, from this Pleiadian world. Even if our soul didn't directly come from Pleiades, this is all about generosity and love and healing and spreading the light, because we are rebuilding Lemuria, and we can rebuild Lemuria if we all stick with it and stick in together. We stay in the place of what can I learn, what can I grow from this situation, rather than this is what I'm unwilling to see. Okay, so we need to take that down and take our sense of entitlement, which is not in this country, is the thing that has really gotten out of hand. The instant gratification society has bred this sense of entitlement that we can have whatever we want, whenever we want it, and screw you for whatever the consequences are. It's all about me. And that's not how we heal our society. And that's really what we're coming to, especially in this country, to see those tensions that are rising, where we have protesters and counter protesters and people that are clashing, because people are really fighting against that sense of entitlement, that I want what I want and everybody else can go sit in the mud and I don't care how it affects them. And the other side of the story is all the people who are like, wait a minute, we're all in this together, we all have to rise together. So it's very interesting times, because we are really seeing this complete transformation of what our society can choose to become. So for my money, it's part of choosing to become on the side of the light. And then, so of course, the next card that comes up is the Star Mother. So she is always, how can you mother yourself? How can you mother others? Which is not to be all like, take out the trash, wash your clothes, do your homework. That's not what we're talking about. But this is about looking out for others and remembering that we are literally all in it together. It is really about knowing that we all rise together, that when we cavitate and we bring these things together and we understand that we're all in it together, and we send out that love and light and we allow it to cavitate off of others, that we create more ripples in the water that are going to bless everybody more than if we kept our light to ourselves. So even when things are difficult and frustrating, and I know that they are, and I don't ever try to come on here and be all Pollyanna about anything, because we know that things are difficult and we know that things can be frustrating. Please understand that when we ask the universe for help and we open the door and we allow for that, we create the possibility for such miracles and such blessings to fall down on our heads and rain down our heads in the most wonderful ways. And we stay in that place of okay, we are bringing that to ourselves as well. So in any situation, to understand that we are still the soul having the human experience, right? And the majority of our soulness is up here, way up above, and that we are here having a human experience with just a small fraction of who we really are. And it helps us to understand that, to not take the things that are happening here in the earthly plane, in the material world, so seriously, and to be able to say, okay, what am I learning from this situation? How can I expand my horizons on this? What am I unwilling to see, hear, or do? How can I release that and broaden my mind? Because that's what's going to raise my vibration, okay? So in any situation, you can choose to be the person calling other people a Karen, or you can choose to be the person that wants more information so that they can learn and grow, okay? And so when we do that, we are expanding our energy with generosity. We're being kind to ourselves. We're being kind to those around us. Okay, when we get out there and we're all like, rah, 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 then we're going to get that back. But when we go out and we say, okay, how can I bring light to this situation? How can I bring light to this person? We are generous with our love and our light. We can be generous with our love and our light, because when we light a candle and I use my candle to light your candle, my candle is just fine. And now we both have a candle and there's light for everybody. Okay, so we do not diminish ourselves by sharing our light. In fact, we help lift others up and bring them to the light as well. And because we are all from that place, even if we didn't directly come from with our souls from Pleiades, we come from that place of creating love and light and lifting up humanity. That is the purpose of all of our souls, no matter what star system you came from. We are creating that place of Lemuria on Earth. And hi, Doris, welcome. And we are mothering our Earth. We're mothering our humanity because you know what? I'm sorry, we're the grown-ups in the situation. If you are here watching this video and you know who I am and you are, tuning into what's going on with me and others like me, then we're the grown-ups in the situation. We're the ones who understand. We don't need guns and we don't need violence and we don't need hate and we don't need to destroy our planet. We're the grown-ups. And so it's up to us to be generous with our love and our compassion and our spirit. And it's up to us to be the earth mothers and to be the star mothers and to help other people find their way into the light, because this is going to get uglier before it gets better after November 3rd, at least in this country. And so it's really important for we, the light bringers, to keep our cool and to keep our minds open and to keep our hearts open, knowing that we've got Ocean, the goddess of generosity, with us, and to keep ourselves open and to spread that light to others. Because even if things are just challenging for us right now, and I know there's something challenging everybody, there is something challenging everybody, but even if that's where we are, to keep our hearts open, because again, we lead with love and we lead with generosity, what cavitates back to us is going to be so much more than we can even imagine when it comes to love and generosity and blessings from the universe. I promise you. It's not all about the money. It's all about the light. So I want to say thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I'm so unbelievably grateful and honored and humbled that anybody takes the time, that all of you take the time to come and visit new people from Ohio and Canada and Georgia. And thank you so much for spending some time with us today. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to comment. I'll get back right in there and answer any questions. If you want to send me a message through my page, you certainly can. And please join us on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. We do a meditation class right here on Wednesday nights. We do some discussion. We talk about different meditation techniques, and we do a short, maybe 10-15 meditation, just to get you a taste, to get you learning about meditation, to get you learning about how to learn to do that for yourself, because so many people come and say, I can't meditate. I don't know. Like, you can. You really can. You just got to take it in small bites, and sometimes we just need somebody to make us sit down and do it. So I'm so honored to be able to do that for you as well. If you like this video, please like the page. We had, last I checked, about 695 people in our beautiful community of light. When we get to 700, I'm going to give away a 30-minute free reading. So would love to be able to have you in that drawing. But you've got to be on the page to do that. And thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Know how much you are so loved by me, by the universe, I'm sure by the sleeping kitten. And just thank you so much for being here with us today and sharing some time. Sleeping kitten, I mean, can you get any cuter than that? I just can't stand it. So thank you so much for spending some time. Have a great week. Mwah. Love you.